So thank you, ma'am. This is my another study I'm going to present, and thank you, dear ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of empty chairs. So this study is all about the happiness in ready-made garments in industry of Bangladesh, and we have tried actually to identify the needs, what the need to be more happy. In Bangladesh, you can ask why I picked that particular industry. Because in Bangladesh, especially in Dhaka and Chittagong, the number of garments workers is around 4 million, which is, I think, 4 times higher than the Thimphu population. And there are 5,000 garments factories are there. So it's huge. The depth and the spread is huge in Bangladesh. And in last 30 or 40 years, the industry has changed. The industry has reformed basically 3 major issues. Number 1, the wages of the laborers. Number 2, the workplace safety. And number 3, the right-based issues, the rights. But unfortunately, the happiness is not there as a component of their daily life. And as President Donald Trump last year signed the minimum wage is 30 cents per hour, which is around $3 or $4 per day, which is really lower to live a standard life, a happy life as well. And this is why there are a lot of labor unrest in Bangladesh, and many of the foreigners are also supporting the labor to achieve their rights and their living standard and overall happiness. So the study we have conducted is a small study. The objective was to identify and gauge the current status of the happiness, and which will work as a baseline in the future researches and the certifications of the GNA certification in future in Bangladesh garments industry. And the methodology was simple. It's a qualitative one, but twofold. We have read a lot of books and the publications, and we have conducted FGDs and in-depth interviews, of course, with the garments workers and the other stakeholders and some right-based NGOs as developer partners as well, and the owners and the middle employees of the garments factories. And before we go to the findings, just a basic of the respondents of the focus group discussion of the workers. And you will see the migration is a big issue in Bangladesh, especially for the garments workers. They come from uprooted from the northern part and some middle part of the Bangladesh. You see the Bangladesh map. And so, and their basic education is 5 years of schooling, the primary education we are talking about. And they are working for around 5 years in the garments. And as I already said, the wages is very low. But on the other hand, they have independence of 3 to 4 dependents, depending on that wages as well. And the age is 18 to 24. That indicate that they are not last long in that particular job, and they switch to another job or another profession in future. And that mostly, you will see that 90% of the workers are female and unmarried female, but some of them are married and having small children. We see only the small children with them. So this is the basic demographics of our research respondent, and I will request Mostafizur to give the next findings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor, Mr. Wally. So now I am starting to present the findings of our short research, qualitative research. Mainly the objectives, you already know that the objectives of that study was to gauge or understand the happiness of the RMJ workers of Bangladesh in the light of 4 pillars and 9 domains of GNH. So we are really inspired by the GNH pillars and domains. That's why we tried our level best to find out the real happiness of our RMG garment workers. So the 4 pillars, you know better. Based on the 9 domains, I will step by step try to explain our findings first. So first question was to the RMG workers was, what does mean happiness to them? So after asking this question, the majority of the participants opined that happiness is a kind of cognitive functioning which varies from person to person. However, in general, happiness for RMG workers is getting a good working environment, satisfaction with work and salary, good understanding with family members, as well as secure livelihood. So happiness is life to them. So based on that, we tried to understand their psychological well-being as well. Working with passion and love is a vital factor to enrich knowledge and skills, we know better. So majority of the RMG workers have come into this job as a fate, but not by their choice. Therefore, a few of the participants felt that they are doing something is not appropriate for them. This psychological state often hinders them concentration on work, and they fail to give best output in workplace mentioned by them. Sorry, I'm on the wrong side. So this is the slide that I'm trying to explain you. So RMG workers were asking to recall their last month and describe their status of psychological well-being. It was found that most of the participants come back to accomplish their domains of happiness almost every day, because in the most of the cases, they start their day with a rush due to several reasons, like entering the factory on time, terrible transportation on road, day-long immense workload, coming back home and managing household chores. So consequently, majority of the workers have gone under trauma during the last month, and which took them to unpleasant life. And they have faced also such a kind of trauma, like lost much sleep over worry. What they are doing is not useful, felt incapable of making decisions of things, felt constantly under stress, felt they could not overcome over their difficulties, felt unhappy and depressed, lost their confidence on self as well. And our a fellow from Japan in last session told that Japanese are not workaholic, they are alcoholic. And on an average, the Japanese are working for 9 hours in a day, but we found that our RMG workers work on an average 10 hours in a day. So we can say that they are kind of workaholic. To manage their lifestyle, that's why they are trying to do that. Okay, so there are some quotations here. Based on that, you can understand what is the real situation or scenario of RMG workers in Bangladesh at this moment. So based on health, they are not getting the minimum requirements from the government and from the other private organizations in Bangladesh. So sometimes they face unhealthy situation within their workplace as well as within their households. Regarding education, garments workers, the average education level, already Mr. Wali has said that, below the primary level, so they don't have any access to the good workplaces. And one of the RMG workers, based on that, told that if I were an educated person, I could have been in a better position right now. That's why I'm providing best support to my brother for his higher education. Regarding good governance is actually means to them widely in getting salary and bonus timely. They need to live first, and who is in power, that doesn't matter to them. So government, already we know that Bangladesh government has made a lot of changes and improvement in our RMG sectors. They have raised the salary of the garment workers. We have separate Ministry of Labor, but unfortunately our Ministry of Labor people are not very much focused on this issue, on these the rights of and peace and happiness of RMG workers. So, regarding cultural diversity, resilience, and community vitality, RMG workers believe in cultural harmony as they came from different areas of the country. Majority of the participants stated that their main identity is garment workers. Therefore, they have respect on each other's customs and beliefs as well. Study findings also showed that RMG workers are generally sympathetic towards their co-workers. The participants particularly mentioned about their friendly and strong relationship among the female co-workers. It was found that during crisis periods, female co-workers work as a support system or a safety net for each other. Regarding ecological diversity and resilience, it is already recognized that Bangladesh is very prone to cyclones and floods, and there is a considerable risk of earthquakes and might bring both people's home and factory dangers in this matter. And already we have informed that, we have Googled that there is an earthquake in Bangladesh at Dhaka today. So RMG workers are somewhat aware about the climate change, what is happening, including within this area, the glacier melting in Bhutan or the Himalayas areas. There will be high impact in Bangladesh because we are in the coastal areas. So if the sea level rise, then we will be in a difficult situation. So RMG workers are also aware about this because they are facing this kind of difficulties and problems day-to-day life. They have mentioned that flash flood, excessive heat and cold, thunderstorms are happening due to climate change. And in recent times, the RMG workers are facing excessive heat, and due to that, many of the workers are facing dehydration. And due to that, for the resilience, RMG workers try to keep some oral saline in their bags. So regarding living standards, we have already discussed about a lot of issues, but the basic needs like utilities and other services like the housing condition, only 5 feet or 12 feet housing condition is available there, and a lot of people are living in a single room, so they don't have any privacy or comfort within their rooms as well. The water and sanitation or electricity, gas, these are somewhat good in Bangladesh because the government is focusing very much in these issues, and the RMG workers living in the surrounding areas, they are also getting this kind of facilities, but due to their salary structure, they cannot afford the good places. That's why these kind of facilities are not very easy or available in their areas. Educational institutions are also lack there. That's why RMG workers try to educate their children, and they are spending majority of their income for the education of their children, we found in the study. So based on that, we can say that it is important to change and as well, if we want to go back or look into the perception. Okay, 2 minutes? Okay, I can finish, I think, within 2 minutes. So RMG workers are not very much friendly or familiar with the rights of our RMG. RMG employers are not very much familiar with the RMG workers' rights and safety, but government is trying to make this improve. But due to that, we want to say that the mindset of employers need to be changed. Their business could be more profitable if they pay higher wages and provide a better work environment to the workers. And they need to understand that satisfied employees are more productive and can continue greater returns to the companies. In spite of having trade union and federations in RMG sector, it is not very visible their initiatives in ensuring the labor rights. More training and capacity building courses can be arranged for them to make them more efficient in handling the issues related to the labor rights of the RMG workers. And RMG industry has undergone significant transformation that we have mentioned already. So government should focus on this because the mentality of the employers and the federation workers is not so high, so that special courses can be arranged for them to make them understandable on this issue. and the minimum wages of RMG workers already have been increased a lot, but this is not the practical increment in our country, because the price hike is very prevalent in Bangladesh. So RMG workers, what they are earning, they cannot afford their life. So it is important to adjust their salary with their lifestyle as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, it is essential to grasp the RMG workers' psychological demands as well as their material incentives if the stakeholders want to give them true happiness. And happiness is very important for the RMG workers. Apart from their income, apart from their other difficulties, they are trying to be happy by their own, and that's why we should keep our focusing on this issue to make them more happier in their lives. Thank you very much.